Rama asked, why are things the way they are? How did this apparent order arise? He's not asking why it came into being, but why did it come into being in this particular form, with the sun in the sky, with us having a certain amount of limbs, with food coming out of the ground and so on. And in the first part of this chapter, Vasishta answered him. It's to do with movements of energy in the infinite consciousness, which sounds quite mysterious and mystical, but it's just consciousness doing its thing. We could ask, why does a particular dream come about? There might be some elements of the dream we can explain, but by and large, why do we dream what we dream? There's just this continuous creative flow going on. A certain aspect of that flow, known as the mind, tries to make sense of it. And it can make sense of it in an infinite variety of ways. This is what gives rise to something called niyati, or cosmic order. Vasistha continued. Within the infinite space is the root element of sound hidden, like a sprout in a seed. So it's curious that this word that is expressed in terms of sound here, this is obviously the Om sound. This could be understood as vibration, as movement. This is the movement in consciousness, the movement of energy in the infinite consciousness. From this, foolish people have spun theories concerning a material creation for the entertainment of other fools. And they're fools in the sense that they forgot that the drama is a drama. They forgot that they're watching the playing out of something. And they forgot their identity as the watcher, as the witness. Nothing ever comes into being, nor does anything cease to be. Does a dream come into being? And when you come to the end of a dream, has that dream gone out of being? Do dreams ever stop? There's only forgetfulness. But dreams are going on all the time. I suspect even when we're awake, there are dreams going on, outpouring of creativity. I suspect too with music. Occasionally I've heard music in my dreams, original music. It's almost like there's a part of dream space where music is continually pouring out. And I suspect the greatest of the composers, people like Mozart, have access to that dream space, that musical dream space to a greater or lesser extent. They're just simply writing down what they hear. What I'm suggesting is there's this ongoing creativity going on. When you can relax to the point that you're almost falling asleep, you'll become aware of the hypnagogic state. And this is a continuous outpouring of images, but it's also sounds as well. Perhaps if you're blind you might hear sounds more than see images, or other sensory experiences. There's a continuous pouring out going on, and it's perfectly apparent in this hypnagogic state. So the question you can ask, does this hypnagogic state start as we're falling asleep? Or is it there all the time? What is exists firmly established in the supreme peace, like the centre of a rock. The centre of a rock is solid and homogeneous. Just as in the case of one who has limbs and organs, there is constant renewal of the cells constituting those organs endlessly. Even so, there is no end to the existence of universes in the Supreme Being. Will we ever run out of dreams? It's an absurd question, isn't it? The infinite consciousness becomes aware of a part of its own being, and thus awareness arises in it. And this is a limited notion of awareness. Awareness is infinite, but as soon as it becomes aware of something, it identifies with it, and it forsakes its infinite nature. But only in the same way when something occupies space. This computer mouse occupies space. Has the space been destroyed or used up? As soon as the mouse has gone, the space is there. So here's the space. It's taken up by the mouse, and the space is back again. The space is entirely unaffected, but when the mouse is there, the space is completely used up. So this is the same as awareness. Awareness becomes aware of something. In a way it becomes used up, it becomes limited. But then, when the awareness comes back to itself, it's unchanged. Infinite in nature, uncoloured. The infinite consciousness becomes aware of a part of its own being, and thus awareness arises in it. This is followed by the notion of relationship, the word and its corresponding object. The Buddhists call this namarupa, name and form. It's a fundamental part of the cognitive process. Since this awareness is endowed with the faculty to observe and examine what it observes, it is recognized as consciousness. This is when you're conscious of something. Out of this mass of consciousness arise jiva and all the rest of it. However, at this stage it is still not individualized for want of ignorance. But when ignorance arises in it, then it is turned towards samsara. It is filled with the unborn elements. At this stage, the ego sense or individualization arises along with the sense of time. This is the vital factor in the existence of the world.